Welcome to another episode of the Wandering Watercolor. Today we are painting the fourth page of the Fairy Tales and Legends watercolor coloring book. It's the book that I hand make using lithographs, and let's get started. This is the image for today, and when we are finished, this is what it will look like. It's basically just a princess that is spending some time with a unicorn, going along with the theme of fairy tales and legends. And as always, I have my brush. If you bought the kit from me, you probably got this brush or this little pocket brush. Either one of them works. If you're using this one, I still recommend using a jar of water so you're not worried about the little reservoir running out. And then always have a plate. This is just a soap dish. You can use a regular plate to mix your colors on, a rag, and a scrap piece of paper so you can kind of test some of your colors. And we can go ahead and get started right away. So the first thing that we will do is we will grab some of this green and just use the green directly from the palette. We're not going to really mix it with anything else. We're just going to dilute it with some water so it's not as opaque. And then we're just going to go ahead and color in the grass that we see here. Just directly, just a flat wash. We're not doing anything other than just adding the color in here. And it's not that big of a deal if you go outside of the lines a little bit. Just go ahead and throw that in here. You can kind of fade it out a little bit as it goes out. Okay, we get all that in here. Okay, rinse our brush. And then we're going to grab a little bit of the pink. This is for the dress of the princess. And then we're going to also grab a little bit of white. I rarely ever use white. It's just this one in particular, it's a lot quicker and easier if you use the white. If you're using another palette instead of the one that I make myself, you can just mix the pink very easily with just grabbing just a little bit of red and some white. If you don't have white, honestly, you just need a little bit of red and then add a lot of water so it dilutes. And then using the white of the paper can give that pinkish color appearance. Go ahead and we'll just lay that right on. Just the whole dress. And the gloves as well. This is all pink. Personally, I really like how pink looks when it's next to green. It's like a toned down version of red and green, because red and green are complementary colors. And just a flat wash. I'm really not going for any texture, although I know that a little bit of a texture is appearing here. I'm aiming not to make any textures, just a flat wash just to lay in the color for the dress. And then right here. There we go. Rinse off my brush. And I'm just going to grab a little bit of pink, just a very small amount, just for here, the kind of like the top part of the dress. Just a little bit of pink, differentiate the color there a little bit. We're going to let that dry. And then we're going to mix some gray tones for the body of the unicorn. So we're going to use some brown and some light blue. We're just going to mix both of those together. Need a little more blue, a little more. That's probably too much. Add some water and a little bit of brown, a little more. Let's see, that's looking pretty good. Let's test it out here on our scrap piece of paper. So that's looking pretty good. Maybe just a slight amount of blue more. And a bunch more water, because we want the first layer of shadow to be very faint. We don't want it to be too overpowering, especially since they're both outside during the day. It's a very gentle shadow, so as faint as possible, which means adding a lot of water to dilute the gray. Okay, so I think this should be good. That's pretty good. So we're gonna go right here, just a big swoosh right there for the underbelly of the horse, or excuse me, unicorn, and then right there, and then the inner leg going down, and as well as on this side like that. And then same thing on this side. The light source is coming just pretty much straight down, but also at a slight angle. So we're gonna go ahead and cover in the leg that's behind the one in the foreground. We're gonna cover that in completely. And then we're gonna do a little bit of a indent there, a little bit right here. And then a little bit right here in the face, a little bit where the eyebrow, or to show the brow ridge, a little bit on the back side here, like that, here, and then for the ears, and then also maybe some streaks, just a little bit of streaks, as well as showing form for the mane of the unicorn, and just like some short strokes just to show texture. And don't stress out too much about it, since this is just the very first layer. We are going to do multiple layers for different levels of shading. So like that. Okay. So that's good. Oh, also, let's not forget the horn here. Just like that. There we go. It's looking good. Rinse off our brush. Sorry about that. My computer was messing up a little bit here, but hopefully the recording is still good. Okay. So now we have that in here. The shadow is looking good, and we're gonna go ahead and add the color for the hair. The hair is gonna be the yellow ochre. If you don't have this color in your palette, just mix in some brown with yellow, and maybe even a dash of red to get pretty close to that color. But basically the princess is blonde, so we're just going to basically, you just want to add brown to yellow to make it a little bit of a darker blonde color. So we'll go ahead and just do a flat wash of that. There we go. Rinse that off. And then we're going to grab some brown just directly from the palette. Let's see. And we're just going to use that directly for the boots. For both of them, as well as the belt that the princess is wearing. And we're just going to rinse that off. And then we're going to darken up this green. Add a little more green and then a little bit of brown. Make a nice dark yellow green. And what we will use this for is the shadow of where the unicorn and the princess are standing. Now, as we said earlier, the light is coming mainly from the top right. So we're just gonna go ahead and do a little bit like this. Basically immediately under them. That's really it for that. That's kind of how the shadow would look like, something similar to that. We'll rinse off our brush. And I actually just noticed that the tail in between the legs here actually should have yeah, there we go, some shadow. I forgot to put that in. And we can also add a little bit here underneath on the mane. Second layer of shadow, just some strokes here to show that it's darker at the bottom because of the weight of it and how the hair falls. And get some more, add a little more darkness here, as well as the underbelly, and then the bottom of the tail. Maybe some strokes just to emphasize the texture, as well as in the mane. And the back leg here, add a little more shadow like that. And a little bit here under the eyebrow. Okay. As well as on the horn itself. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Rinse off our brush. And we can actually go ahead and grab some black directly. Kind of mix it in here. And this is actually going to be for the hooves. The hooves are going to go right there, just a flat wash. And this one as well. Same on this one and this one. And then also the eye. I'm gonna be careful to leave that little highlight in there. Perfect. That's all we need there. And maybe also a little bit here for the nostril. So far, so good. Rinse my brush. Now I'm gonna grab a little bit of the yellow ochre. And a little bit of the red, a little more of the red, and again a little more of the red. There we go, that's better. Kind of mixing up the skin color for the princess. We want a little more water there. Oh crap, some of the pink kind of snuck in. But this, what I have on my brush is actually pretty good. Go right there, cover all that in. Cover it in there. Okay. There we go. And please remember, all of the colors, how I'm coloring everything, they're all just suggestions and examples. Since it's a coloring book, you can color it any way you want. So however you want to, you can easily do that. We're going to leave that to dry, and while that's drying, we're going to grab a little bit of the light blue. Let's see, I'm going to test it out here. Oh, that's too strong. I'm going to dilute it with water. That's better. So we're just going to add background. So I'm just going to grab and go like this and kind of around. Try not to get it in, but if you get it in the object of the horse, it's not too bad. And then a little bit right here, kind of like that. Almost like rays of sunshine coming down, except it's the blue of the sky in the background. So it's more subtle as opposed to like rays of yellow sunshine. The same right here, like that. And it's okay if they vary in intensity and how they look. You're just trying to establish a bit of a background. There we go. Like that. There we go. Okay, not bad. So it's all looking pretty good so far. We're actually close to being done. We're doing pretty good on time on this one. I'm gonna rinse off the brush. I'm just gonna pick up a little bit of yellow directly from the palette. Get some of it off of my brush here. And then I'm just gonna color in the crown, the princess's crown directly, and that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and dry off my brush a little bit and pick up the excess. There we go. Yep, so that's that. Now then, we can go ahead, this part is dry, so we can go ahead and focus on adding more shadow to the dress. So we're gonna pick up some of the pink directly. And to make it a little darker, we're just gonna grab a little bit of green. Just a little bit of green, it'll make the pink darker. It also dulls it down, so it's not as distracting. So that's pretty good right there. Yep, that's good. We'll go ahead and we'll add shadow on the glove here, like that. A little bit there, a little bit on that side, and then a little bit going like this, and right here, and then a little bit over here underneath the belt, shadow for the arm, a little bit right here, and also a little bit here for where the fingers are folding in, kind of like that. And then got on the fold here of the dress, like that, and then like this. On the underneath, like that, as well as right there. Basically kind of following the outlines, because those are a bit of a guide to show you where the folds would fall. So that's pretty much it there, but we'll also go ahead and add, I'm going to get a bunch of it off of my brush and add a little bit here on the accent fluff that she's got here on the dress. Like that, just like little short strokes, just to show maybe a little bit of a texture. I'll rinse off my brush, and let's see, step back for a moment. Looking pretty good. I'm gonna grab more brown here, and then add a little bit of the blue, the dark blue. Okay, and that's going to be our outline for the boots here. Just a little bit there, and like a little bit there, and also right there. So those look really dark. Take off a bunch of it off of my brush, and I'm just gonna go back over to pick up some of that color. It came out too dark. I'm just kind of trying to show a shadow on the boots. I didn't want them to come out that dark, so that's a little better. And then we can use that same exact color to kind of go in for the belt. Just a little bit of an outline on the bottom part of the belt. Rinse my brush. Yeah, see the brown here got a little bit into the shadow there. That's okay. Just dry your brush and then pick some of it up if it does that on your end. So that's good. And then the last part would be to just add the outline. Now, you can use just a regular pen like this one, and you can see how it looks. Just to give you an example, like right there. I would use this one, except it's hard for me to do it without blocking the camera. So I'm just going to use this one. If you have something like that, like a quill pen or ink pen, like a dip pen, feel free to use that. But more or less, it'll give you the exact same result as using a ballpoint pen. I actually love using ballpoint pens when I'm on the go and adding shading because they're so portable. I mean, I guess these ones are too, but sometimes the ink can make a mess. So yeah, anyway. Okay, so we're just gonna go like this. More, like I try to do more thick outlines for where there would be more shadow. Just add a little bit of texture for the hairs on the tail. Like that. A little bit like that. Like that. I'm not going to outline the back part, but I'm going to outline underneath because there's more shadow there. A little bit here on the leg, like that. Definitely down here where the hooves are, because the hooves are already pretty dark themselves. Like that. And then here, like in the hair, maybe some squiggles, just some lines, just some short strokes, just to outline, to show that there's a, you know, the hair texture. Like that. And here, there. Definitely down here, like that. And then like that. You could go in with just the regular brush and using the black ink. It's just you have to go much slower, and like if I was to do that, I would hold the brush like this, and I don't want to block the camera, just so that you can see what I'm doing. It's much better when you can see what I'm doing as I'm explaining it. Notice how I left a lot of this unoutlined just because I'm trying to emphasize the darker parts or where there would be more shadow. If you want to outline everything, then definitely go ahead and do that. There's no rule that says that you can't outline everything. And the same with if you don't want to outline everything, you could just as easily leave things as they are. There we go. I'm gonna add a little bit here for the eye. There we go. I'm very cautious with adding outlines in the face, just because you can very easily mess that up, and then just kind of ruins the whole thing and distracts from the rest of the image. There we go. Let's see. Yep, that's pretty much it. Okay, so that was the 4th page of the Fairy Tales coloring book. Hopefully it made sense, and hopefully you enjoyed it. As always, please, if there's any questions, just leave them in the comments, or you can message me, DM me, whatever works. But that's pretty much it. And feel free to tag me. I love seeing what people make with their own books. And with that, I will see you next time.